Guess who's coming to dinner? Thank God it's Friday. And guess who's coming to dinner? We've been celebrating Women's Her Story this month. And I'm closing out the month with some boss ladies running this city, doing things, making things happen, because it takes a village. And most of the time, the village mamacitas are always at the head of the table. We give our props to our men, but this is kind of like the decade of the woman. What can I tell you? So we've got a lot of fabulous women right here in Louisville, Kentucky. And our guest for dinner this evening, I am very honored to say, is none other than former interim police chief, Miss Yvette Gentry. I want to say Yvette
Yvette.
Gentry. Huh?
How you? Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We
Look,
talked about it earlier. We minus the dinner, but we you got to make that one up to me. But we're gonna talk and
I'm
we're
gonna
gonna
make it
talk
up
for
to
the
you.
day. Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt. Well,
Yeah.
you were on my list of women that I wanted to interview because I really don't know you personally. I had an opportunity, actually, a couple of years ago now, to communicate with you when I was doing the dirt boat,
Right.
and my skill set is kind of across the board, kind of like just tell me what it is you need to do, and I see if I can't get it done for you.
Do my best. Right. Right.
So when I reached out to the foundation, to Rondo's foundation, to get help with our banquet, our 50th celebration for the banquet, and you were
Hmm.
very helpful with that, and I truly appreciated your help because it I don't know if you saw any of the pictures, but I'll send you some of them so you can see. You
Yeah,
might
that'd
have
be
time to
nice.
look at some things now, huh?
Oh yeah, I got a little time on my hands, just a little bit.
So what I want to do, I want to just kind of let you talk to us, because Louisville's listening, and
Mm-hmm.
we know you stepped in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
We were holding our breath, and you stepped in to take that interim police chief position to just give us some breathing room. So tell me what that was like for you, and what made you decide to do that, and did you pray over it, and
I
did
did,
you
and it was all the prayers,
really?
it was all the prayers. I mean, because it didn't make any sense for me to go back into that. Really, it didn't. I had a lot of good things going, a lot of good momentum um, that I'm trying to pick back up now, and that I had to put to the back burner. I don't regret it because I did pray on it.
Yeah,
And I did ask God to kind of, what you want me to do here? I truly believe you can't fix what you don't understand.
right.
And I spent my life in that agency, and I'm, of course, 50 years old in this city. That's the only city I've ever known. So I felt like I could just stand in the gap for a minute. That's what just kept coming to my mind. Just go in there and
Just
stand in the
stand in the
gap and
gap.
do your
Yeah,
part. That's it. Don't apply for that full-time job. Stand in the gap. Try to move things in a direction. Try to set us on a course where we can do better. And
right.
then go back to what you really had started, because we have some momentum and some things that I'm really super passionate about.
Well, I must admit I was one of those that was saying, please, please take the job. Just please. They don't have to look no further. Please take the job. But we understood, that, that's after dedicated so much of your life, like you said, to that profession,
Mhm.
it was time, we got to change up. We got to stay fresh,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
know. But
And diversify. Yeah.
the what?
I said, and kind of diversify your
Oh
skill
yeah.
set a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, just it's like, so let me see if I can do this, and yeah, I can do that. Uh, because that's what we need to keep our momentum, our personal momentum
Hmm.
going,
Absolutely. Hmm.
and I think that's real important. But the city really, I want to say on behalf of the city that we truly appreciated you stepping in, sister, because that was major. I call
Thank
you my
you.
shero. You were 2020
I don't know
shero
about
to
that,
me.
but I
Huh?
mean, I was in there trying every day. You know what I'm saying? And everybody got their own perception of it. But I tell you, I didn't take a day off. I was at it for 108 days. I mean, just trying to move this around and do this and try to figure this out and figure that out. I mean,
Right.
it's a lot harder than people really realize. It was tough being gone almost 6 years. I had been gone, so I walked
Right.
back into what was
It
familiar,
didn't
but
seem
it was
like
different.
it had been that long, but it
Mhm.
had been, huh?
Right. It did. You know what? It didn't seem like it was that long to me either until I went back in there and I felt like, oh,
Say
it's a
I just
little
left
different
here,
around
huh?
here. Right. It's a little different around here. Yeah. So
Hmm.
it was a change. But like I said, when you pray for something and you gotta be ready to go with it,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
gotta be ready to go
Well,
with it.
that was you filled a mighty big gap, and I just stay prayerful for my city because I'm very emotional about a lot of the things that are going on, but we'll touch on that a little bit later. And
Right.
so I want to come back. So you did the interim police chief situation, and we know, and there's some things we cannot talk about. I won't even go
Hmm.
there. Um, but then coming back. So what did you come back to, and tell us about where you are now? 2021, brand new, all over
2021.
again.
Oh man, I got some rest.
Okay.
So I'm ready for my boys to go back to school. I got twins that are 16. I got four sons. 20, well, I'll be 29 next week, and then 23, and then I got 16-year-old twins. So this home NTI stuff, we struggling over here. They're not really online learners, and I wasn't. I had to go. I preferred to go in person classes. So, getting them back in the classroom is going to be big. So, really, what my passion was and what I'm excited about now is this Black Love Foundation we're trying to launch. We're trying to incubate it at Metro United Way. So I work at Metro United Way as well as run Rondo's Foundation, and what some people might not know is, like, you think of Center for Nonprofit Excellence, that was incubated in Metro United Way. And
Okay.
so Louisville doesn't really have a Black foundation that really has the resources to really move some stuff. And so that's what we're hoping to do, is incubate a Black foundation that, Daryl Unsell and I will eventually have enough resources to get out there and launch and get some stuff done. And the love is for live, own, vote, and excel. So it's called Black Love.
Oh,
So we,
oh,
we
I
want
like that.
to
Live, own, vote, and excel. Now,
excel.
I think I just saw y'all on the news.
Yeah, Daryl accepted a check today. We've been raising money like crazy and just really trying to get, because Black folk, we got a lot of ideas, but we never can get that lump sum of money. I
Right,
tell people all the time, even as hard as I worked and hard as you work, we make decent livings, but you've never had that lump sum of money to do something
right.
really major and transformational. So that's what we're trying to get. We want to get $20 million so we can just get out here and do some stuff. So
Okay.
I actually think we can do it. I
I
actually think
think
we
it can be
can.
done, especially in Louisville, because
Right.
now I know that what is that? That community foundation that
Hmm.
has the funds that gives out
Yeah. Community Foundation of
checks.
Louisville.
Okay,
Hmm.
yeah. So you kind of want to be like that, but for Black organizations or
Hmm.
Black
And black led
businesses.
and black led.
Okay.
What's the proverb say? Only you know where the roof is leaking in your house.
Oh, thank you very
And
much.
so sometimes we get a seat at the table a little late, and it's a lot of people making decisions. So we just wanted to say, what about creating our own space where we can, have
Exactly.
our own and own our own stuff from the beginning, um, and really, home ownership is the key to erasing the generational wealth gap.
Right.
And so we want to figure out, how do we help people own? We're thinking
Right.
of creative ways, because a lot of times people say, well, we want affordable housing, but it's a whole lot of stuff that you need. We were
Right.
talking today about maybe, you know, a home warranty, because sometimes, one major issue at a house can really set you back, even though you've paid your down payment and you've,
Right.
done all of that stuff, but your roof starts leaking and or
Right.
your refrigerator goes out. So we talked about, do we give people a couple of years of home warranty so they don't have to worry about that? Just trying to be innovative and
Okay.
bringing some
Okay.
different people to the table. But that's the
That
goal.
is innovative, because one thing that the pandemic has done, I think, is all these entrepreneurs have come out of the
Right.
woodwork. Everybody to put on their thinking cap. And
Mm-hmm.
I said, this was the opportune time. If you think you've got something or an idea or a business you want to start, it was now to
Incubation
do.
period. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
do your legwork, do your planning,
Mm-hmm.
lay out. You had time to lay out maybe some marketing strategies, see which
Yep.
way you want to go. And
Mm-hmm.
then when the doors open up, then it'll be like the Kentucky Derby. First one out the gate.
Let's go. Right.
Let's
Right.
go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's one of the positive things that has happened, I think, during COVID. I mean, even this broadcast for me,
Mm-hmm.
I decided to do this. This is supposed to be, and it is, a conversation about racism and racist policies,
Right.
but to find solutions.
Right.
People would always say, oh, well, that's a conversation for another day. After
Mm-hmm.
all that I was seeing on TV, I said, oh, the day is now.
The day is right. Because,
Today is the day.
sometimes we get stuck doing programs, and programs are great, but they will never overcome bad policy. And so that's what I do at Metro United Way. That's part of my job. And so
Okay.
right now you're in a legislative session, and proud that they raised the threshold for felony theft from 500 to 1,000, which was long overdue. Louisville, Kentucky was one of the last states to raise that, and that just recently passed. And that's huge because when you think about trying to bail people out of jail and do this and that, and that's what I say, I try to really work upstream in criminal justice reform, because if this would have been done in 2016, 56% of the people that were in jail for felony theft wouldn't be in there. So that's what
Wow.
policies can do that our pockets can't, if you just get
Right.
out there and lobby. And we don't really have Black lobbyists. And that's something that we got to grow too when we start talking about growing a system that works. And that's what I tell people, I understand we got to fix law enforcement, we got to fix criminal justice, but you got to build systems that work before you tear down the systems that you have. It's just, we got to build up the systems that we need. And the policy area, while people were protesting for justice, it was a lot of people busy putting together some really damaging policies. And so we got
Yeah,
to
like they're doing
really,
now.
really pay attention in that space.
Just like now. Just like
Mm-hmm.
all the voter
Mm-hmm.
suppression, and the you
Mm-hmm.
can't say anything to a police officer. You can't even open your mouth. Your freedom freedom of speech is
Mm-hmm.
almost getting ready to be taken away from you, because that's one of the
Yeah,
bills
well,
that's
it's just a
going.
whole bunch of busy stuff,
Yeah,
right?
you know.
And then to make a, yeah, and then it's
Then to
another
make
one
what?
out there where um, one of them that was really disturbing is to make any damage that a tenant does to a property a criminal act, even if it's not intentional. And so, you already have a civil penalty that you can assess against somebody. And if somebody intentionally damages your property, that's another thing. But if to say that any damage that's done to a property is criminal, or a landlord can hold you criminally liable, that's just damaging for no reason. This was not the time to be passing something like that.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of stuff you got to keep your eye on.
Yeah, it's a whole lot that we need to keep our eye on, because they are busy.
Folks are busy.
I mean,
Folks
they're
are real
busy
busy.
just trying to make it's like,
Mm-hmm.
so in order to for blacks to navigate their life, if we're going through a maze, but do we turn left? Is it okay
Mm-hmm.
if we go left, or should we go right? Because
Mm-hmm.
there's a roadblock, it seems like, that's being put
Mm-hmm.
in front of us at every turn.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm feeling a little frustration, because I even watched what went on about the Civil Review Board.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Oh, so they don't want us to say nothing.
Yeah,
They don't want us to have
it's
any input."
delicate. Well, I mean, it's just it's a crazy delicate balance that you do want to strike. With somebody who is, you do want people that you feel like can be objective, but that don't mean you have to be silent. But you want somebody to feel like you can be objective. Objective if you are making a decision on somebody's career, because
Right.
we absolutely have to have accountability, but the process has to feel like you're open. You got to kind of be open. So I don't watch it. I stay away from it. I really do. People like, you see that? You hear that? I'm like, girl, look, I got
No.
kids that are struggling on NTI. I'm trying to get me some rest. I got 2 jobs. I really don't intently focus on it because we have the legislative session. The Metro United Way was busy in that. So I was just trying to figure out, what is moving that I know that I can impact.
Right.
And just try to give myself a little separation from everything LMPD every day,
Right. There is an organization that came out of Metro United Way that did a PSA.
Mhm.
The what's the name of that group?
Which
Metro
one?
Researchers or something like that.
Hmm.
There were 5 or 6 people. They
Mhm.
did a public service announcement because I was going to look them up and have them come on the show. I said,
Okay.
"Ooh," I said, I have to find out who they are. I think they were called the researchers, and
Hmm.
they were talking about their experience. I think one of the ladies that spoke was the ladies that owned Sweet Peaches down on
Oh, okay. Hmm.
18th and
Um.
Muhammad Ali. Yeah, we have to find
Mhm.
out who they are.
Yeah, we
Yvette.
do. See, I missed my people in Metro United Way for 4 or 5 months. Yeah. I mean, well, they really try to stay active in the space and what's going on in the city. So it could be a variety of different things that I just kind of miss because they try to stay up on it. They really do. So
Okay, so and
we'll
what
figure it out.
you so that's your role, that you're trying to start something where we have a foundation that
Hmm.
more or less can help the community
Hmm.
in areas, in all areas. Really,
Hmm.
you're kind of looking at in the overall scope of things, but you've got to
Hmm.
raise funds in order to do this, right?
Right. Hmm.
So, is this part of becoming a uh, when United Way does campaigns? Like I
Hmm.
know usually it used to be where they go to different businesses and the employees give X amount of dollars to United Way that go to different charities. So
Right.
that's the same kind of um,
Hmm.
premise.
Yeah, but we're really trying to go after national dollars because
Okay,
it's only so many pieces of pie here locally. So Metro United
right.
Way as a whole does have its campaign, but those workforce campaigns are changing. That's the model we've had for 100 years, but they're
Yes.
changing. I mean, so you don't get the kind of money that you used to from these big corporations. We have some very generous donors. Don't get me wrong, but we're really going after the federal dollars, the Kellogg foundations, the
Okay.
places like that have I didn't mean to say federal, but national organizations to try to bring
Right.
some of those national dollars here because Sadiq would just raise almost 50 million for the track.
Right.
I'm also on the board for Evolve 502 where we're doing the universal scholarships. We had to raise $80 million, so it's only so much you're gonna get out of Louisville, Kentucky.
Right.
So we're going after some of those funders that got some big pockets.
Deep pockets. We need deep
Deep
pockets.
Lord knows, yeah, we need some deep pockets.
All right. So now I'm going to go back to where we are now. So we went
Hmm.
back to 2020. We came up to 2021. So where do you see our city? Where do you see us moving? How do you see us moving? Just give me your
Hmm.
a summation of from
Hmm.
last year to where we are now, and
Right.
how we should be moving.
I'm really worried about the violent crime and the gun power that's out on the streets in the hands of our young people. Um,
Okay.
it's amazing to me. You talk about feeling like I have been gone forever. All the years I was on the streets, we would go to, what we consider a terrible shootout or something where you would see
Hmm.
20 rounds. We have gun battles that are 200 100 and 200 rounds, where people shooting 100 and 200 rounds at each other. I mean, it's crazy out there. So, I mean, we got to really talk about that more. It's not at the forefront. We got to figure out, how do we get these high-powered weapons out of our children's hands, out of our young people's hands? How do we teach conflict resolution? And how do we stop relying on the police? You know, people talk about police reform. And I'm a data person. So one of the first things I did when I went back was start to look at what is bringing police officers to everybody's door. And I found about, I guess, we make about 500,000 contacts a year. There was about 42,000 calls where people just don't get along. No gun, no violence, nothing like that. And to me, when you're bringing a gun to everything a police officer does, they're bringing a gun to it. And we got to stop having that come to our home. We got to figure out, how do we resolve conflict without having a police officer come? Because if we can minimize that contact, we can also minimize the conflict. And we got to figure out who to call that's better served, and how to deal with conflict without always having somebody, like I said, armed, come to our house to try to figure it out. And in Louisville, like I said, 42,000 times, it was just, I'm mad at this person. And that's a good place to start. It's just like reevaluating the role of law enforcement in our own lives, not just in our city, but just in our families,
And families having those conversations, because a lot of times I see things that, or you hear about things that happen, especially when they are feuding on Facebook, that children are feuding, adults get in it, and it goes to a whole nother level.
Right.
Now, I saw today where Oakland has started a non-policing unit. They've set it up, and I was like, I know I got some girlfriends that live out in the Bay Area. I'm saying, send it to me so I can pass it on to our legislators. Want to know like what that looks like, because I've been listening to what's going on in other cities. One of my girlfriend's daughters is a alderman in Evanston, Illinois, about the reparations, and she was on Sold to the Nation. I don't know. I had pros and cons about how I felt about those reparations when they give you some money and then tell you how to spend it. I'm saying, okay. But there are other things in other places that they're trying. I mean, I even saw once on, I watched Soledad, matter of fact, a lot. And
I love Soledad.
She's all that to me. She interviewed a female police officer in Watts. And when she became the chief, she fired everybody. Everybody had to reapply for their jobs. Yeah. So that became where they started taking the police really out of those situations where it was domestic violence or a disturbance, to put it lightly, where somebody else could go and maybe. But is problem resolution is something that can be taught.
Absolutely.
I can't see how you get mad at somebody and you're so mad you just have to kill them. It's ridiculous.
And I think
we were never like that.
I think we're minimizing that we have to teach it. I think we're acting like it's just something's in the water with these kids. Like, no, we got to teach it, And I think, one thing we don't talk about, Janice, is this generation is the generation of kids whose grandparents was on crack. And I can tell you this, that we don't talk about that a lot. And everything that I learned about being calm when I was a knucklehead kid, I got it from my grandmamas, my grandparents. I mean, you cannot extract out of me what my grandparents put in me. And just think, if your grandparents were, struggling with their own addiction problems and stuff, and you see that at one point at the detention center, like I said, I'm a data person. I was like, I wonder how many. And I asked the kids that was in our, what's your family's history of drug addiction? And I guarantee you, this is not a scientific study, but I'll tell you, more than half of them, their grandparents struggle with addiction.
Yeah.
And there has to be a correlation where the people that normally feed into you, were struggling themselves.
Right.
And the
that
impact.
that's what has to be understood about the children.
Right.
You know, what is their home environment is not the norm, because they didn't come up in a normal situation. Not like we did. You know,
No,
before the
they
crack
missed
era.
out on that benefit. Right. They missed out on the benefit of that wisdom
Yeah.
that you get when you get a chance to spend some time around your on my grandmama's porch and my granddaddy's station wagon. Like
Yeah.
on my toughest days, that's the voices that's in my head, you know, and in my heart and in my, you know, so I just can't imagine who I would be without them, because
And you
I
hear
was a
those
knucklehead.
grown-ups saying, "You better behave. You better stop fast telling. I'm gonna tell your mama." It
Right.
used to be say, "Yes, ma'am." We'd say,
Yeah.
"Yes, ma'am." These kids now say, "Tell them."
Right.
As a
Well, and
substitute teacher, I said, "Do you talk to your mother or your grandmother like that, like you just spoke to me?" And they would just look at me. I'd take them outside the room. I wouldn't reprimand kids in front of other kids. I said, "Who do you think you're talking to?" When I get them outside their door, because I'm really ready to jack them up. But I'd ask them, I said, "Do you talk to your grandparents like that?" They said, "No." I said, "If I call them right now and tell them how you spoke to me," and sometimes they would hand me the phone. "Here, call her." I said, "Oh,
But you gotta
no."
want to accept help. You know, I know some young
Yeah.
mothers that just don't accept the help. And I know it's trust. It's so many layers to it. But man, you gotta take the help, you know. You gotta take the help.
I think we need a women's coalition of mothers. Just say, we're gonna have a meeting of nothing but mothers, and we're gonna swap stories. And we're going to swap stories, and maybe one of those stories will help somebody else, especially when it comes to, like you say, problem resolution. You know, there are a lot of things that our kids have missed, and this is the group that does not know how to contain their anger, because, see, they've seen mama or daddy cuss out somebody or go beat somebody up. So they follow the pattern.
It's
So,
tough.
but
Yeah.
we got to do just a little bit more hands on, don't you think?
I do. We gotta figure that. I had the, I called it a privilege. I had a chance to talk to some JCPS kids with the men equality the other day, middle school and high school boys, and I got to do a session on the state of Black men, and I just told them, what they don't. I gave them all my cell phone number, and I told them to call me. Don't ever be out here saying no, you don't have somebody. You at night. I will get up out of my bed and come get you before you feel like you got to do something crazy.
Right.
But I just want them to. We got to love on them some too, because I explained to them that you are the value. When you talk about Michael Jordan shoes or all of this stuff, like, none of that is nothing if you don't give it the value. Once you put it on and put your swag with it, you give it the value. So you got to understand that you are the value. So when you out here, dying for stuff that you think is valuable, it's not. It's you are the value. You're the irreplaceable thing.
Right. And it's like they have to learn how to. I've got a citizenship initiative that I wrote, Yvette, and in it is, how do you pick a friend? What are the things that you look at when you choose someone to be your friend? And I don't think our children think about those things, but those are just easy conversations to have. You don't want to be a follower, you want to be a leader. So you have to make your own decisions. It's not letting somebody make decisions for you. But Louisville is full. Since I was a teenager, Louisville is pure precious city, USA. It's probably not the only one, but it's pure precious city. Don't you think? Is there some of that still existing to you? Where'd you go? You freeze up on me?
Oh yeah. I think I'm just losing a little bit of the connection. My kids just came back. Nobody better not be signing on a video game or something. They were gone for a minute, but everybody's back now. So
okay. Well,
I'm hoping
we've
not.
touched on just about everything. I just appreciate your time, but I just wanted your voice to be heard. That's what the show is about. I want to hear voices that don't always get to be in the spotlight. I mean, I know you had your moment to shine for a while there, but you went back and we hadn't heard from you. I said, I'm coming to find you.
And it
And
wasn't
I
my
just
shining
wanted
moment. I had to be the police girl, but that's, at the core of my soul, I love what I do in philanthropy. I mean, this is Rondo has given me, he really gave me my dream platform, because the thing I love about him is he loves to help people, but you don't always have to tell nobody, you
right.
know, because,
Yeah,
our motto is we'll celebrate kids in public, we'll help kids, as a foundation, you got to kind of tell your story, you got to balance it. But if
right.
we help you when you're hungry, individually in your family, kid calls us and we take groceries, he's just like, don't do that to them. If
Yeah,
let's just we don't want to embarrass anybody, and
right,
so it's
right.
good to have somebody that is willing to give you that platform to go out there and do good, and really just want to do it for all the right reasons. So
That's
I'm
wonderful.
blessed in that way.
Tell him we tip our hat to him as well.
We got to
And
get
you
him
take
on
care.
your show. Yeah, we'll
That's
get him
fine.
on here. Yeah, we'll get him
Whenever
on
he's
here.
home, you let me know. Tell him,
Okay.
it's a sister want to talk to him. Took a couple of pictures with him, and she's
Yeah.
started the dirt bowl, so I can talk a little basketball because I
Oh, you
know
can
he's
talk
down
it
in
with him. Right.
he's in Atlanta now, right?
Yeah, they
I
just hit
I
the
was
road for
really
19. Yeah.
upset that the Lakers had the nerve not to. I mean, if he took them where they went to, come on now.
Yeah, he had to go. I mean, they don't want to pay him. I mean, nobody,
Ah,
they didn't want to pay him, so he had to go. He likes being here closer to his kids.
yeah,
His kids still live here, so he can get here in 6 hours in the car, and 5 hours in the car, whatever. They say 5 hours. I must drive like
it's
Miss
6.
Daisy. I never.
No, it's
It's 6.
6.
I'm like, if y'all getting
It's
here in five
6.
hours,
Don't care what
somebody's
nobody
wrong.
says.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
whatever. Yeah.
6.
He's closer to. He's a mama's boy too, so he's closer to his mama. It's all right.
Oh, wonderful. Well, Miss Yvette, I enjoyed talking to you. I hope you
I
enjoyed
did too. It was
sharing
good
your
to talk to
story,
you.
because people want to know like how you were feeling, because all we
Hmm.
got to hear is sound bites every now and then.
Right, 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 right.
But it's nice just to have a conversation, and let you know that your city, Louisville, the Ville, appreciates you, sister, because you
and
rock.
I appreciate the bill. It's all me every day. It's just this is where I live. It's where I'm raising my kids. Louisville is just who I am. So we gonna get it right. I mean we
Yeah.
don't always have to agree, and we don't always have to do it the same way. I would tell people that was protesting, you ain't got to kick my door down. You don't know this place like I know it. I understand what I got to do. And I don't fight black folk publicly.
No.
I don't tear my sisters down. I just don't, whatever. So, we
Right.
can disagree, and we can figure out where we have synergy, and we can work together, but we ain't gonna fight.
Mm-mm.
We ain't gonna fight in front of folk. That's just not.
We just not gonna do that.
We just, I mean, for what? You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? We got too many battles to fight, and
Woo!
this ain't the one we
Against
try
some
to die
other
on the
folks,
hill
so
on.
we need to be on the same team.
We gotta pay attention, and we all got a role to play.
Yeah.
I can get at a table that you can't get at, and vice versa. So let me
Right.
do my thing and you do your thing, and we just get back together and figure out what other gaps we gotta fill. What other holes is being put in.
I give you my slogan from my favorite movie, Jerry Maguire. It's not show me the money. It's help me, help you,
Help you,
help me,
help me,
help you,
help me.
to help
Right,
me, to help you.
you're right, man. We could just get it.
That's
Let's
what
get
it is.
together. That's the thing, Janice. We just gotta get together as a
Yeah.
community. Like, we gotta realize it's enough out here. We so used to so few of us making it that we kind of get to that. No, it's room for everybody. We just
Yeah.
gotta throw some bows around and
Right.
create that space, because
Because
we all
everybody
should
can
be
shine
okay.
in their own light.
Right.
Nobody else can shine in your light.
No, no,
And people
no.
have to grow to understand that. Nobody else, somebody say, oh, I sing, right? So somebody else is sing. They don't get my paycheck. When I'm on my gig, it's my gig.
Right.
So they shine in their light. I shine in my, I
Mhm.
support them. I got a musical called girlfriends. I didn't want to
Hmm.
call it divas because I didn't
Right.
want any negative connotations.
Right.
It's girlfriends, how we respect each other and we lift
Hmm.
each other up. And when we want to scream and shout, we got somebody we call, girl, look, how
Mm.
much time you got? I said,
Nothing
oh,
like it.
Lord.
Nothing like a good girlfriend. I'm gonna have you return it. So what I decided to do too, and I'm gonna get off your show because I'm taking up your time.
No,
Um,
you're not. You're
I got
doing
a
just
group
fine.
of, I know a lot of professional women, both sides,
Hmm.
and I got my girlfriends that are just brilliant Black women that I grew up with, that I my go tos. So I
Okay.
said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start connecting folks because we are such a segregated city. So on Wednesdays, I'm gonna have happy hours. And I'm bringing my Black friends, some of my white friends, like, y'all need to meet each other, because we got to network. We got to help folk
Yes,
network because,
absolutely.
like I said, mentorship, it only take you so far. You need sponsorship in this city. You need sponsorship. You
Yeah.
need somebody to walk you in the door. In this city, it's a small town. It's hard to get somewhere. So you need sponsorship. So the only way that's gonna happen is if we start mixing these networks up and say, hey,
Count
this is a
me in.
I got you. I got you on my list. I do. So we're doing 3 and 3. We're gonna do happy hours. Some of them gotta be without spirits.
Okay.
Some
Okay.
and
Okay.
not all of them gotta be without spirits, but
Okay.
some of them gonna
Almost
be
like
without spirits.
matinee at Joe's years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do a club seater.
Uh,
We'll do a
ooh,
matinee at
girl,
club
we
seater.
going deep in the hood, and it's
Hey,
got
gotta
new
get some good
ownership.
fish.
I,
Yes, I was
I
down
do
there
know
last.
about that.
The fish is still good though, so we're
Oh, the
gonna go to
fish is.
club theater.
Oh, yeah, they did
Yeah,
have some good fish.
David's in the kitchen making it happen. So thanks for having me. It was good to see you.
Thanks for accepting my invitation, and I will invite you back when we have a real meal, and we'll have something else to talk about because some little time may pass, but I'm going to bring you back because I love your,
Anytime.
your your energy, and I love that you have such a positive attitude. So
Yeah, I
you
believe
be
in
you
us.
be safe, my sister.
All right, you too, darling.
All right, when you get ready to do that get together, let me know.
I got you. It's every we're gonna do it every Wednesday. So we just gotta figure out 4 o'clock every Wednesday. So you gotta
Okay,
figure out which one you can make.
okay. All
All
right,
right.
darling. Take
Thank
care.
you. All
All
right. Bye
right,
bye.
sweetie. All right, Miss Yvette Gentry. Wow. It's so nice when you meet new people, and you feel like you know them, 'cause they hometown folks, that want to make the city where we live better. It's something that we have to do. We have to come together, more together to help those that need maybe a little bit more help than we need. Help me, help you, help me to help you. Come on now, so that was Friday's fireworks. Everybody's living for the weekend, and I'm just really I was just so pleased that she accepted my invitation to come and talk to you all, so you all could know a little bit more personally about who she is, and what her thoughts are, and what her life is like, and how she stepped in for us to do the best she could until they found somebody to Lord have mercy, don't let me go there to become the police chief. Anyway, uh need everybody to stay masked up. It's not over. COVID has not gone anywhere, you know, and if it's gone anywhere, it's going to spring break where y'all don't need to be going. If you haven't gotten your shot, and it sounds like here in Louisville, we're going to be able to get everybody vaccinated within the next couple of months, which is a wonderful thing. And then things can open up a little bit more. But there's some more strains out there. There's always something. There's that old adage. You're either in a storm, coming out of a storm, or getting ready to go into a storm. So and that's what we call life. So we have to be prepared, and we have to protect ourselves. We have to protect others. We have to be respectful of other people's well-being. That's the only way that this humanity will continue to exist, is if we look out for each other. So on that note, on Monday, let me tell you about Monday. I've got another boss lady coming to help celebrate Women's Her Story Month. And that's the new owner of Today's Woman magazine, Miss Tawana Bain. So I'll see you Monday at 7, dinner time. Guess who's coming to dinner? Bon appetit.